The day my husband told me he could do better than me, I didn't cry. I didn't break down. I didn't even feel shocked. I just stared at him, and something inside me quietly shifted, like a lock clicking open after years of being stuck. It wasn't pain. It was clarity. The kind that comes all at once, without warning, without mercy. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you are listening. Your support means everything. To understand why that moment felt almost liberating, you need to know the version of him I fell for. When I met Daniel, I mistook insecurity for confidence. He walked into rooms like he owned them, but looking back, it wasn't confidence at all. It was a man terrified of seeming small. He talked about ambitious dreams, expensive lifestyles, high-power careers, and I believed him. I admired what I thought was drive. I didn't realize until much later that he used big talk to hide deep self-doubt at the beginning. His insecurity came wrapped in charm, the kind that makes you think he's only teasing, only joking, only being a man. But small things grew into patterns. He corrected me unnecessarily. He explained things I already understood. He made comments about my clothes, my style, my decisions, all with a light laugh. Just trying to help, he'd say, which somehow made it harder to call out. I was too soft with him. Too forgiving. I supported him through job changes, 4 of them. I covered bills when he had situational stress. I encouraged every new idea he had, every project he dropped, every hobby he abruptly abandoned. I wasn't just a partner. I was an emotional airbag. The trouble with insecurity is that it doesn't get smaller when you feed it. It grows. And instead of appreciating me, Daniel slowly began to resent me. He needed to be above me in some way, any way. So he pushed me down gently, subtly, but consistently. Our breaking point started during a dinner with his co-workers. They were showy, the type who treat luxury brands like achievements. Their wives arrived dressed like reality TV stars, hair extensions, nails sharp enough to open packages, designer bags big enough to be suitcases. I don't say that with judgment. Good for them. But I wasn't trying to compete. I wore a simple black dress with a soft gold necklace. Nothing flashy, just clean and elegant. After dinner, we sat in the car in heavy silence until Daniel finally exhaled, like he'd been holding something in all night. Sometimes, he said, eyes fixed on the windshield, I feel like I could do better. At first, I didn't react, because I needed a second to decide if I heard him correctly. Do better, I repeated softly. The words left my mouth without emotion. He shrugged, uncomfortable but still self-righteous. I mean, look at the guys tonight. Their wives are glamorous, stylish. They fit that lifestyle. And I guess, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like I settled too early. He said, settled like marrying me was a compromise. Like he had options lined up, ready to jump, and chose me because he ran out of steam that day. Inside, something cold formed, not sadness, but a strange calm. Instead of breaking my heart, his words opened my eyes. What he didn't know, because he never cared to ask, was that I wasn't the simple woman he invented in his mind. Yes, I worked in finance, but he never asked what I did. Never asked about my promotions, my accounts, my investments, or my family's assets. He assumed I was average because he needed me to be. He needed someone he could position himself above. And I let him believe whatever made him feel stable. But after that night, I stopped cushioning his insecurities. I wasn't cruel. I didn't argue or throw his words back at him. I simply changed the way I existed around him. I stopped over-explaining myself just so he could feel knowledgeable. I stopped downplaying my life so he could feel important. I stopped shrinking to keep the peace. He noticed immediately. Why are you different lately? He'd ask. You're acting cold, I answered honestly. I'm thinking. And I was. Thinking about how one man's insecurity became my burden to carry. Thinking about how many times I ignored comments that chipped away at my worth. Thinking about how I let myself disappear to make a grown man feel big. The final blow came at another gathering with his co-workers. One man joked, "Dan, when are you upgrading the missus?" The rest of us just bought LV bags. It was a stupid joke from a stupid man. But Daniel laughed too hard, too proud, and then said, "She's not really into luxury. She's more simple, practical. Some women just aren't trophy material." The women laughed. The men nodded. But I felt something inside me lock in place, not anger. Understanding. He wasn't just insecure, he needed me to look small so he didn't feel like a failure. And if he had to publicly humiliate me to protect his ego, he would. I left early without telling him. He didn't notice. 2 days later, I met with my lawyer. On the morning Daniel received the divorce papers, he barged into the kitchen waving them like someone had pranked him. "What the hell is this? What's going on?" "Divorce," I said calmly. I was making tea, fully at peace. He stared at me like I'd stabbed him. "Why?" "We were fine. You said you could do better," I replied. "I'm giving you the opportunity." But I didn't mean it. I was stressed. I was insecure. "You're blowing this out of proportion." He was panicking, a man watching his emotional safety net evaporate. Then he made a predictable mistake. "How are you going to afford anything on your own? You can't even cover the mortgage without me." That's when I laughed. Not out of cruelty, but out of disbelief at how blindly he'd underestimated me for years. "You really don't know me at all," I said softly. And I showed him what he never bothered to learn. I placed a folder on the table. Account statements. Investment summaries. Proof of early tech investments. Property deeds under my name. Documents from the trust my parents set up years ago. A net worth that dwarfed everything he ever dreamed of. He stared, mouth open, the blood draining from his face. "You had all this?" He whispered double quotes, "Yes. And you never told me." "You never listened," I corrected. His ego shattered so loudly I swear I heard it at divorce court. He tried to claim financial support, accusing me of using him for stability. My lawyer almost laughed. Every false claim he made was dismantled with documentation. The judge denied him everything, not even a symbolic dollar. When the judge clarified that Daniel had benefited materially from the marriage while I had not, he erupted, shouting, "I made her who she is. She was nothing without me." The judge sighed. "Sir, she owned multiple assets before you even met. This marriage did not elevate her. It accommodated you." A slow ripple of laughter moved through the courtroom. Not loud, but enough. Daniel broke down like a man who couldn't understand how he lost a game he thought he was winning, left the courtroom with a sense of freedom I hadn't felt in years. 3 months later, I was sitting in a cafe near my apartment drinking a caramel cappuccino. Sunlight warming my shoulders, and I realized something simple but profound. I felt light. Not because I was rich, not because I won, not even because he got what he deserved. I felt light because I finally stopped carrying a man's insecurity as if it were my responsibility. I heard from a friend that Daniel is now dating someone. Glamorous, a woman who posts designer. Items like personality traits and captions everything with sparkles. He seems happy. I hope he is. I don't hate him. I don't wish him misery. I just sincerely hope he eventually learns to value people for more than what they can do for his ego. He couldn't do better than me. Not because I'm extraordinary, but because he never learned how to recognize value in anyone except himself.